Hello crafty friends, it's Alicia of the Call Me Crafty YouTube channel, and it is time for another oh so inspired collaboration. I hope you'll stick around, see what inspired us this month, and see what I'm going to create. Thank you so much for stopping by today. If this is your first time to my channel, I hope by the end of this video that you'll be inspired to click on that subscribe button below and maybe even tap on that bell for notifications. Welcome back to my subscribers and regular viewers. I'm so glad you're here. It is the 15th of the month, which means it is time for another oh so inspired video hop / collaboration here on YouTube. If you're new to the oh so inspired collaboration, every month my team and I take one inspiration piece and we create a project that is inspired by that in any way. So the fun thing about this is, as you hop to each of the channels, that you'll see probably something completely different than the channel before. Speaking of other channels, everybody who is participating is linked in the description box below. I hope once you're done with my video that you'll go see what they created and leave them a thumbs up and some love in their comments. For this month, we were inspired by a fun fold card by Leanne Pugliese. I hope that's close to the correct pronunciation. She has the We Inklings blog. Her original blog post is linked below, and I'm going to go ahead and pop some pictures up on the screen now. So originally I was going to create that same fun fold, but then I decided to just take inspiration from what it looks like from the front when it is closed. I really like that big, bold, graphic floral in the background, so I'm going to be inspired by that and make a Christmas card. For that background, I will be using a piece of paper from the Fireside Hot Buy pad, and I chose this poinsettia piece of paper. I thought this had the same kind of feel as that floral paper from Leanne's card. Also, to create my card today, and I might actually end up making two, we'll see, I have got out a piece of kind of burgundy cardstock which goes with the poinsettias. I got out a piece of green which goes with the lighter leaves. I pulled out some floss because if you look at that picture again, you'll see that at the bottom she had some twine that was tied to hold that card shut. But I thought I would add this maybe for a little more detail. I got out a tag die to die cut my sentiment. I will be using Stampin' Up's Cherry Cobbler ink to stamp my sentiment. This is a classic Stampin' Up set. It is actually retired now. I believe it is called Sincere Salutations, and the one I'll be using is Holiday Greetings. Here's a look at the other sentiments in the set. It was just a really great basic one. I've had this for years. And you'll notice that this is not on a wood block. About a decade ago, I thought I would be smart and unmount all my woodblock stamps to save space, and I used some Aleene's Tack It Over and Over on the back so I could use it on a stamping block, but I do have to say I have regrets on that. I wish I would have just left them alone. As I start my process, I will go to a voiceover. If I leave you with any questions, as always, make sure to leave those in the comments below, and I'll get back to you just as soon as I can. Let's go ahead and get started. As with most of my projects, I'm going to start by doing all of the cutting that I can. The first thing I'm going to do is cut that burgundy cardstock in half and then use that ledge on the side of my trimmer to help me fold those in half so I can get two card bases. Next, I'm going to take that scrap of ivory, and this will go on the inside so I'll have a place to write my personal message. I cut this to 5 inches and then 3 3/4 inches to get 2 pieces. The next thing I cut was my pattern paper, and I cut 2 pieces the same exact size, so 5 inches by 3 3/4 inches. And finally, I cut my green cardstock so I would have just a teeny tiny border around the pattern paper. This got cut to 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. Once all of the cutting was done, I put together as much of the cards as I could. I started by adhering the ivory cardstock inside of each of the card bases, and then I matted my poinsettia paper on the green mats that I cut for it. While I'm putting these together, I want to take a minute to remind you that if you're inspired to create something based upon this month's inspiration piece, to make sure to use the hashtag IWasOSINOV2019. That way, if you make a video or post on Instagram, I can come see how you were inspired and leave you some love. The next step is going to be to get my sentiment ready. I'm going to ink up my stamp with the cherry cobbler and stamp it onto the ivory cardstock. Now you'll notice when I stamp the second one, the whole thing doesn't get stamped. So I just go ahead and stamp a third, and I actually end up using that middle one later as kind of a test for the final card. Next, I'm going to be doing the die cutting. To get my die to stay where I want it on my cardstock, I did get out a little piece of Scotch Blue removable tape. Now the piece that I'm using today, it's actually one that I've had stuck to the desk beside me. The great thing about this tape is you can reuse it quite a bit. You don't always have to get a new piece. If you want to go check this product out, I do have it linked in the description box below. You'll notice that I did go ahead and die cut all three of the sentiments. That is because I wanted to see if inking the edge of one of those tags with that cherry cobbler would help it stand out from the background. And I did decide not to do that. So that was great to have that extra piece so I could test that out. Once the sentiments were die cut, I adhered both of those to the matted poinsettia piece, and I just adhered these flat down using my Scotch ATG. Now the cards are almost done, but before I can put my focal points onto the card base, I want to add some floss to the bottom of each one. I put a strip of adhesive along the back edge just to hold that floss in place, and then I wrapped it around the card front 3 times. My original intention was to tie those and make a bow, but I noticed that after I got the bow kind of adjusted with the loops the same size, that it was really kind of wrinkled or creased because of having it on that floss holder. So what I did was I ended up taking my scissors and cutting each of the loops in half, and then trimming off the excess tails until they matched up with the length of those loops that I just cut. I used that same exact process on the second card, and I made sure that once the loops were cut and the tails were cut off, that I adjusted the edges how the floss wraps around the card front. Now that the fronts are all decorated, it's time to get those put on the card bases. I do want to add just a little bit of lift off of the card base, so I pulled out my big blue roll of foam tape. This is probably about the same thickness as a Stampin' Up! Dimensional, but I buy this on Amazon and it is super economical for the amount you get. If you want to check it out, it is linked in the description box below. Once I had my foam tape in place, I then pulled off the blue release paper and then placed that centered on the card front. I did the same exact thing with the second card to finish this project off. And here is a close-up look at a finished card. I hope you enjoyed getting to see how I put these 2 cards together quickly and easily. If you did, as always, I appreciate a thumbs up. Don't forget to go and visit all of the other collaborators linked below, and until my next video, I hope you're having a crafty day. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch all the way to the end of the video. I hope that you'll consider clicking on one of the videos or playlists I have linked above, and if you're interested in any of the products or tools that I use in the video, I do have some links in the description box.